What's your thing? Don't you get into self-doubt or self-critic?
No, it's what you said is absolutely right. I think um, um, one the, the starting point. I think that at least as I was kind of going through all these years. I mean, we don't have good women role models in the organizations today who are at the leadership positions, who have a working spouse, growing up kids in the families, things that everybody's dealing with. And I think because we don't have those kind of role models or people already there in most of the organizations, I think it's changing. I do see it's changing, but it's very slow. So it's easy to correlate that with, hey, maybe it wouldn't work, right? And then whenever any other opportunity comes to either take a role that maybe fully doesn't utilize your potential, or take a break, or it's easier to make those decisions because you look up and you say, oh, there's really nobody there. So what I'm thinking is probably how it needs to be. And I think we just need more and more women in that role to really inspire and make sure they're sharing their stories to say, yeah, this is really possible. Like, and everybody can do this because we all are, competent and hardworking. But what you said, I think our mindset is very much execution focused in the earlier part of the, career life. I mean, we are great in execution, in making sure we are meeting people's expectations. We don't really think about ourselves too much. We're not investing in ourselves. We are giving, always, giving. And I think when you add the complexity of a family, at least in our culture, I think we are constantly in a guilt mode. When we're at work, we're feeling guilty about not being at home, and we are being at home, and we are thinking about not being at work. And I think we just need to not be in that position as much as possible by building a support system around us. When when we had kind of our daughter, and she was just born, or even up to the point where she was maybe 3 years. So again, in a daycare type environment, both me and Vikram, and we would struggle each day to you know drop her off on time, pick her up on time. So at work, you're worried about, okay, what time do I need to leave? When you pick her up, then you're like, oh, I had to like stop my work midway because I needed to be here. So you're constantly at guilt, and feeling bad about you're not doing your best in either of those. And I think we soon realized that um, we had to build a support system around us, and we have no family around us, no parents to kind of look after the kids and such. And so we decided, hey, let's have a babysitter to you know bring the kids back from daycare or school or wherever, and stay until the time we come back from office. And I think small things, by building a support system, it just lets you um, kind of do more in both places whenever you are, and takes away the guilt a little bit. So I think it's just, we have to be so conscious of ourselves that we should know that, hey, if this is becoming like our everyday struggle, what can we do to ease it? And what can we do to elevate it, and talk about it, and talk to other people, because everybody's going through the same similar situations. You're amazed that even like your peers, anybody in your organization or your friends, I mean, if you talk, people come up with really good suggestions. So again, like I said, no tips, but I think it's just, we as a women, we just probably have to work a little harder, is what I think, until the time we see the mix changes and organizations become more open. I do think it's changing, frankly speaking. I do think people are realizing what we bring to the table as women, and um, that there is real value in that. And so it's just, we have to wait for for women to progress, and at least be at a 50-50 ratio in those top roles.
So true. Yeah. Okay, so one thing, I mean, since when you were talking about this, one thing that just the picture that came in my mind is like, between you and your husband, I know both, right? Your husband is more, I would say, expressive when it comes to stress, or anything which is like changing, but you are always kind of calm and composed, and you are, I would say, you are the pillar of strength at the back, which who's not kind of panicking around, or kind of the stress doesn't show up on your face, for that matter, but it's like, so how do you, I'm sure you get stressed, right? I mean, it's not that nobody can get stressed, but you will get stressed. How do you kind of, and but at the same time, you're managing your stress, you're managing your husband's stress, who's more stressed than you and who just wants your support. So how you kind of do that balance of managing your mental health as well as managing your life partner, and also giving him the comfort that everything will be fine, it's just a phase. How do you manage that?
It's person to person. I think some of us is just wired to not express so much, but keep the stress kind of in your own internal boundaries. And I would say the amount of stress is probably exactly the same for both of us. It's just we are very different personalities, and I think where I look for um, or seek help from whenever there's a situation like this is by seeking out to people who I have now over the course of years they've become my mentors, and I know that I can say things in confidence with to them, and their advice would be something which would be um, um, without any other intention, like it would be
Yeah.
true to whatever they're saying, and I value those people around me, and I have a group of four or five people like within my circle in my organization where I'm the moment I'm in a stressful situation, I would always go to them and ask them, okay, this is what it is, what should I be thinking of, what should I be doing, and believe me, it's huge. The moment we try to internalize and try to look for solutions ourselves, it becomes so much harder. I've
Yeah.
done that
Yeah.
too in years past. I mean, you know, similar to you. I mean, we started our like I started my working in India, and then moving to the US was a completely different work culture. Um, and so you're thrown into something where you have to learn about the culture, learn about people, learn about the new um, concepts that you need to apply at the job. So there's a lot thrown at you, and I think that at that point, um, there's a lot of internalization of stress. Like, how am I going to even deal with all this? But I think slowly, as you get comfortable and you find those people in your organization, which you then form a mentorship relationship with them. I think the more you talk, the better solutions there are, and it really reduces the stress. Um, and I think that has worked for me. It and because you said, I mean, Vikram is totally different. Like he's
Yeah.
and he's stressed, I can see it, he talks about it. So that's not a person I'd go to when I'm stressed, because I know I only I'll only get a reaction from somebody who's personally invested in me, but also just a different person um than me. And so I have my other different set of people I go to that I found for myself that works. And so yeah, but it's really individual to individual. Some people are just born to
Yeah.
be a certain way in dealing with stress, but you just have to find what works for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think if you can find that, that's probably your recipe for dealing with it.
Awesome. I know I've been asking a lot of questions, and Mimansa has been gasping a lot of this, and I know she was like, I have questions to ask Anvita. So Mimansa, why don't you go ahead and ask your questions to Anvita?